More MCC predictions. I will be predicting the teams from 10th to 1st, and then the top 5 individual. This MCC might be the least balanced since MCC19, but I'm okay with that. In 10th place, I have the Green Geckos, with Dream, Foolish Gamers, Tina Kitten, and Connor Eats Pants. Now, when this team was announced, the first comments I saw on the Reddit were that it had the lowest average of any team in Season 2, excluding the Simmers. Hearing that, my instinct is to put this team 10th, so that's what I'm going to do. I honestly think it's a toss-up between green and pink for 10th, so we will have to see how it goes. The one game I can see this team being good at is Sands of Time, and that would be the thing that would pull this team out of 10th. Next MCC, I would love it if Scott put Tina on a team that actually had a chance at winning, though, because she's been kind of screwed over. In 9th place, I have the Pink Parrots with Rambu, Wilbursoot, Amesy, and Blushy. Wow, foreshadowing, I know. I will say this team has a wider skill set of games than Green, with Hole in the Wall and To Get to the Other Side being good games for them. But that's about it. They could also, like Green, be good at Sands of Time, which might be the thing that would pull them out of the bottom two. Amesy will have something to prove here in her first canon MCC. I expect bottom half, but anything can happen. Another thing, I feel like Blushy might be the person that Wilbur has teamed with that is the furthest out of his circles, so it's nice to see some variety instead of Wilbur teaming with the same people over and over. In 8th place, I have the Lime Llamas with Illumina, Solidarity Gaming, Good Times with Scar, and Cub Fan. This prediction is probably wrong. Illumina has shown time and time again that he can surprise everyone by bringing his team higher, and I wouldn't be surprised if this team got 5th. I have them in 8th because on paper, the other teams just seem stronger. This is a good Build Mart team with Illumina and Jimmy teaming with 2 Hermits. I expect a top 3 from this team here. This is another good Sands of Time team as well, since Illumina has shown to be very consistent at it. This team should definitely avoid Sky Battle as Illumina hates it and the rest are not great either. This is one of the many sleeper teams in this MCC. In 7th place, I have the Red Rabbits with Tommy in it, CPK, Crank Game Plays, and Shovel. I see this more as a content team than anything, but if Tommy's recent performances tell anything, it's that he can make the top 10 and is starting to find his groove for Season 2. CPK got 7th in the last MCC. He didn't want to let us forget it either. So if both of them get top 10, I can see this team breaking into the top 5. This, unlike the bottom 3 teams, is a PvP and movement team. Tommy and Callum will be looking for games like survival games and especially Sky Battle late. Crank will be someone to watch as this will be his first canon MCC with proper, and I say this loosely, balancing. Shelby could also be a saving grace if Build Mart happens to get played at all. It's likely it will get played as it got skipped the last 2 MCCs. This is another reason I have this team in 7th. In 6th place, I have the Orange Ocelots with Quig, In the Littlewood, Errett, and Finster. Another sleeper team. I feel like this is a lot like MCC14 Orange with Quig and 3 much weaker players, bar maybe Martin. If Martin breaks the top 15, this team will definitely do better than I expect and will definitely be in the top 5. This is a solid Build Mart team, and since it will likely get played, that increases their odds of winning. This will also be an ace race team with Martin usually getting top 10 in the game, not to mention Quig. This team will probably want to avoid PvP games despite Quig's well-roundedness. The other 3 simply don't excel at those games enough to justify it. I also foresee a top 5 individual performance from Quig. In 5th place, I have the Aqua Axolotls with Puns, Bad Boy Halo, Sylvie, and Snifferish. Lots of teams are reliant on one carry player this MCC. Aqua, Orange, Lime, Green. I see Aqua doing better than the rest because A, I probably have some bias towards Puns, and B, Bad Boy Halo and Sylvie are a better player combo than some of the other combos on the teams I've just mentioned. Bad Boy Halo has shown good movement and team skills in MCC thus far, and Sylvie is rapidly improving. For this reason, I have them in the top 5. Ace Race is definitely this team's best game, with Puns, Sylvie, and Bad Boy Halo all having top 10s in the game. If push comes to shove, Sniff can hopefully command or carry Build Mart enough for them to get by, and I know Puns and Bad Boy Halo are willing to do their best in that game. Overall, all these factors place this team in the top 5. In 4th place, I have the Cyan Coyotes with JoJo Solos, Scott Smager, False Symmetry, and Pearlescent Moon. This is the biggest wildcard team of the group. I see 4 outcomes for this team. There are 2 factors in each outcome, whether JoJo makes the top 5 or not, and whether Scott makes the top 10 or not. If neither come true, I see this team dropping into the bottom 5, and if one comes true, I see a 4th place finish for them. If both come true, they'll probably make Dodgebolt. This will be further amplified depending on when Build Mart gets played, as this is one of the strongest teams in that game. JoJo has also shown an insanely well-roundedness like Quig has, and I can see her getting top 5 in every different game over the course of the next few MCCs. Overall, this is a team to watch out for, with JoJo covering the weaknesses of the rest of the team, and the rest of the team being very dominant in team games. I also like that JoJo is expanding her circles, teaming with False and Pearl. In 3rd place, I have the Blue Bats with SB737, Sneak Snag, Captain Sparkles, and Car Corvus. How do people not see it? This team has some scary potential. CBK said this team might struggle in Build Mart, and never has a more unbased statement been said. Jordan Carr and SB are all amazing at Build Mart, and I see this team contending with Lime and Cyan for the top spot in that game. This team's biggest weakness is PvP games, with Sneak and SB excelling in movement in particular, but often the 2 skill sets cross over. This will be another team to watch it out for, an ace race with Sneak, SB, and Jordan all able to come top 10. If they do that, that's going to give some serious points. I also just like the crossover in this team, with Sneak and SB never entering my mind as a duo, and a potentially scary one at that. Overall, watch out for this team. It's scarier than you think. In 2nd place, making Dodgebolt, I have the Yellow Yaks with Sapnap, George Not Found, Elena EXE, and Gumi. This was by far the strongest team announced on day 1, with Sapnap having a strong right-hand man in George, something the other teams just did not have. Not only that, but Elena has started to pick up the MCC skills after a couple run-throughs, and Gumi's game sense is some of the best in the entire tournament. This team will be looking for PvP and movement games specifically, Sky Battle, Battle Boxing to get to the other side. It will be strong enough in virtually every game except Sands of Time and Build Mart. I also just like the vibe of this team in general, putting 2 large content creators with 2 much smaller ones. I also just want to take this opportunity to preach that Sap Not Found is better than Dream Not Found and Dream Nap. Dream Not Found is just Dream and George awkwardly flirting occasionally, and Dream Nap is just a sweaty nightmare in game. Sapnap tends to be shy around people he doesn't know, and George has an energy level that he can play off of and still have fun. Good examples were MCC's 8, 9, and 17. This also will give you a good idea as to how weak the teams are this MCC compared to others, with MCC Red being the same team except Elena was replaced with Tubbo. The fact that this team is second says something about this MCC. And in 1st place, I have the Purple Pandas with Pizza Hut, Filza, Smallish Beans, and G Nelly. This is kind of what I was talking about with balancing this MCC. This team is like MCC22 Pink. 3 strong players and 1 weaker player, but not really weak enough to justify the overpowered trio. Pete, Phil, and Joel all have top 5 potential, and G even plays MCC, so it's not like they have a new player or anything like that. This is the Rocket Sleeve team. This team will dominate that game, so I advise all the other teams to play it early or not at all to give yourselves a fighting chance. This is also a crazy to get to the other side team if the other 3 can get G to do decently. Honestly, this MCC might be the least balanced in MCC19, and I'm okay with that, but I have to say one team will probably surprise everyone and make Dodgebolt, just like in MCC19. Also, there is so much crossover in this team. First, there is the ever-wanted Filza Hut. You're welcome, Reddit. And then there's Phil and Joel, an unexpected duo. a G and Pete, an even more unexpected duo. And then we have G and Joel. This team is going to have some amazing vibes, and I would love it if Joel wasn't PG for this MCC. It might make the vibes of this team even better. And now for the top 5 individual. First place, I have to put Pete. Pete seems like the obvious choice for first. He's got a cracked team, and he ain't too bad himself. Unless some good games get benched, he's first. In second place, I have Sapnap. Sapnap has a good team behind him as well, and I think we'll see a first place out of him if Pete's good games get benched. If George gets top 10, it's looking even better for Sapnap. Third place, I have Puns. If you're putting Puns out of the top 5, you're already making a risky gamble because Puns is only placed out of the top 5 in 4 MCCs out of his 11, and only 2 in Season 2. I think we will see him here again. In fourth place, I have Quig. While a little less consistent than Puns, I think Quig is looking like a good shout for the top 5, like he always is. And then in fifth, I have Illumina. Gambling that Illumina will drop out of the top 5 is similar to Puns. You should probably have him here too. If you don't, then you're making a bad gamble on your predictions. He's a player that is definitely capable of getting 5th on an 8th place team as well. Those are my MCC22 predictions. Be sure to tell me I am wrong in the comments, and I will see you all on the 23rd.